Hi guys, welcome back. It's been a long week. This is episode 2 of the Fuzzy Love Knots podcast. I am Nina, and you can find me on Instagram as nlafontaine, and you can find me on Ravelry as Fuzzy Love Knots. Also, I've started a Ravelry group, so please come and join everybody there. It's very small at this point in time, but I think that small groups are really fun because you don't have millions of people, talking, and you can really keep track of the threads and all that. So that is also Fuzzy Love Knots on Ravelry in the groups section. So I'd really love for you to come and join us there as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and thank you for coming back if you were here last week, and thanks for taking the time out of your day to come and sit with me and us, everybody else who's watching, today, if you're new. It's really hot. I know I said that last week, but it's been 90 all week, and it's not very common for apartments to have air conditioners. So all the windows are open, and it's rush hour traffic time. So we might hear some horns blowing, people yelling, like that. So this should be interesting. And I have my fan going, and I just got out of the shower, so my hair is still kind of wet, which is like self-air conditioner. Yeah. Okay, so I hope your guys' week was really good and went well. I know my kind of pen pal gal friend, Jamie, we did a swap, and we've been emailing back and forth, and her water heater broke this week, so she was trying to fix that. And she lives in Ohio, and it's cold and snowy in Ohio with no hot water. So, Jamie, I hope that your hot water situation is all good to go now. Yes. I'm sending some heat to you. And to anybody, I'm sending heat vibes to all you all who are in the northern hemisphere and are getting snow still, and cold and rain in March. But yeah. But I have a little friend here, and by friend I mean plant friend. But she's flowering, and so I wanted to show you guys because it's really pretty. So, okay, she's kind of huge. She's supposed to be like this big, And then she started growing like crazy, and now she's all leggy. But her flowers are so pretty and little. I don't know if you're going to be able to see these. I'll try really hard to get these in focus and still enough so you can see them. But look at those. They're so pretty. So they're on these 3 spears. This one, and this one. And then this little guy started to bloom yesterday. And there's just all these little snowy flowers. And they smell like honey. They smell like honey. They smell so good. So she's here keeping me company. My little succulent friend. Making me happy. I hope she makes you happy too, because I just showed her little flowers to you all. Okay, so this week we have, here's the agenda today. We have some stuff that's on the needles. I cast something on this week. No, it's not the lamb. I didn't start the lamb yet because I'm trying to like figure out the right way to do it, because I don't want to have to frog it and have to deal with all those thrums and fibers. So I'm trying to come up with like a super solid plan. I might even try to write out a pattern before I actually go to do it, because I don't want to have to remake thrums and deal with fibers everywhere and stuff if I have to rip it out. So I know you guys are wondering, because I already had one person ask me if I started the lamp yet. So no, I didn't start the lamp yet. I started something else. So I have some stuff on my needles. I'm going to show you some crochet today because a couple gals in the Ravelry group, oh my gosh, I can't talk. A couple gals asked about it, so I'm going to show you some crochet. And then some acquisitions. Hold on. I have some crinkly bags over here. And then some dream knitting. I have some dream knitting. And then a little bit of spinning. It was so hot this week that I didn't feel like exerting myself, and even though spinning isn't really that physically exerting, but you have to hold your arms up, and I couldn't get in the groove, and I kind of have this nerve thing going on, and that was like, I couldn't really tilt my head up and stuff for a couple of days, so minimal spinning going on. I have a top 3, which I think Amy will get a kick out of. And then, yeah, and then some people commented that they would like to see maybe some photos of my neighborhood. So I posted a time lapse. That's why it was so fast. I posted a time lapse of me walking up a gallery in the Ravelry thread, in the Ravelry group. And I mentioned galleries last week. They're kind of like what a strip mall would be in the States, only because we're in a very large city here, there isn't a lot of real estate, open real estate, so they can't take up a whole large space, so they have to go up instead of out. So they're these spiraled kind of multi-story shopping centers, kind of. But not as huge as what you'd think of like as a mall would be. They're small. They take the space of like one building, but they go up. And so I posted a time lapse video. It'll be on it's on the YouTube channel also, if you wanted to see that. But it's kind of fast because it's time lapse. And it goes round and round, so if you get dizzy easily, I'm warning you, it's spiraled, so you're like, kind of go crazy. Okay, yeah, so that's that. So let's get to it. We'll get to it. I don't know where that song came from. I just made it up. Oh, and somebody else asked, I don't remember who it was, I apologize, about this little guy here. So this little guy, he's knit. I did not knit him. My husband got him on Etsy for me for our anniversary, for our wedding anniversary. I think it was our first anniversary. And he is a meerkat that is Sherlock Holmes. So he's a Sherlock Holmes meerkat. And he has a little violin. You can kind of see it under his arm there. And he has a pipe in his mouth and a magnifying glass. And he's wearing the hat and everything. And it's kind of a joke because I'm kind of like a meerkat. I'm always like on alert, and I always hear sounds, and you might even see me just like go to look out the window. We're on the 6th story, so I can't even like really see anything out the window but other big buildings, so I don't even know why I instinctually look out the window, but you do. And but yeah, but the joke is that I'm like a meerkat because I'm always like on alert, and I always hear things and notice things and remember things that other people don't see or notice or remember. And I like Sherlock Holmes, so that was a little anniversary gift. I'll put in the show notes on the Ravelry page and on the blog who it was by. I'll find out. And I know Tilly Trout knits meerkats. I love her. She's so hilarious. If you guys don't watch her podcast, you really need to, because she's really funny. She makes my day. Every time she has a new episode out, I see it and I'm just like, yes, Tilly has a new episode out. Makes my day. So Tilly, I have a meerkat. Okay. So I'll do the hat first. So the hat, I worked on the hat. Oh, and I worked on something else. I'll do this first. I'm so scatterbrained today, guys. I'm so sorry. We'll say it's the heat. So, since now I'm going to be showing stuff every week to you guys, and I don't want to just use plain stitch markers and say like, hey, this is where I was this week, or just take my word for it. Not that it matters. Or use one of these guys, you know. I went to the bead store and got some stuff and made some little progress keepers. So this one's a pearl. It's a little freshwater pearl. I feel like I'm on QVC or something, showing the gems. It's a little freshwater pearl. And then this one's like jade and turquoise. Well, she said it was jade. I don't know what it is. And then this one's just turquoise. Okay. So I made some progress keepers. And then I didn't make it. I don't know why I said that. It's silly. I attached a progress keeper so you guys could see. Okay. I made some progress on my hat. That's what I meant to say. So, ta-da! I'm moving this down so I don't take stitches out like I did last time, because that was annoying. Okay. Progress on the black hat. Yes, Amy, it's black. I wanted a black hat. I only knit on it in the mornings because of the black factor and the whole like knitting with black yarn thing, because my eyes do get tired of it and my eyes get very strained. So I find that if I knit on it after lunch, like if I work on it in the morning after, like with my coffee or right after I've woken up, I'm fine. But if it's after lunch, I get over it really quick. So I'll do the side thing so you can see the texture. It's just knit pearl texture. I think it's like knit 3, purl 1. And then knit 1, purl. And then knit 3, and then it goes into it. That's what I'm doing. I'm not following a pattern. I'm making up my own pattern as I go. But I'm writing it down. So, because I'm kind of like, I try to be really meticulous with everything. So even if I don't follow a pattern, I write everything down and I keep really good track of it for myself, because if I want to replicate it, then that way I have a pattern. You know, it's not like verbal pattern written out all pretty and formatted, but it's, you know, shorthand that I can follow so I can replicate it again. I don't know how slouchy I'm going to make it, so I'm not going to put it on because I'll rip it out. It'll end up coming off the needles, I know it. But yeah, so that's that. I'm still liking it. I haven't knit on it for the last 2 days because I've been knitting other things, which I will show you right now. So here is what I've been knitting on. Okay, so I called this episode, the title of this episode is Dreams Come True, because, guys, I cast something on. I cast it on. And I cast it on in this oatmeal color. And it's a featherweight. Okay, so this is how far I am. Please don't come off the needles. Pretty Miss Featherweight cardigan. Here's the sleeve cap, so you can kind of gauge from there to there. I have about, I think, 10 rows before I'm supposed to put the sleeves on waist yarn and then join underneath for the body and then start to just knit the body. I'm using it's this. Here's a skein of it balled up. It is the Abuelita Merino lace weight single ply. It is natural color, it's not dyed. And it's really pretty. It's like an oatmeal color because they've taken like white and then carded in and mixed it in with like a natural brown shade. You can kind of see that in there, like that. There we go. Yeah. So I started on that. I'm using a size 4mm micarbons. That's a US size 6. And I'm really loving the drape on it. Like, it's like perfect. It's not too light, but I can tell that when it's washed and blocked, it'll still be drapey, you know. Like, I'm folding it and it's going and doing its thing. I might, I'm happy with how the raglan increases are turning out. They're not. Sometimes you see raglans and they're too holy. The increases on the side, the make ones, are too holy. But these are turning out pretty good. I'm also working on my knitting backwards on this because it's such large swaths of stockinette. So I really hate purling. And sometimes if I purl a lot, not my hands will hurt, but my joints will start to kind of hurt just because of the motion. So I read somewhere about knitting backwards. So I've been practicing knitting backwards, and I'm getting pretty good at it to where it's just a little, it takes me just a little bit longer to knit backwards than if I would purl the row. So, and my tension is good. It's like the same. Like when you're looking at this, you can't tell which rows were knit backwards and which rows were actually purled. Which is pretty good, I think. So I'm practicing that. Because for something that you have to like turn a lot, and if it's not too much lace work, it's really much more simple to just knit backwards. Okay. So those are my 2 works in progress at the moment. That's it. That is it. So, I guess we'll talk about crochet. So, I really only have one crochet thing going on right now. And so I've been crocheting for maybe like 5 years. And I've only been knitting for like a year and a half. So I started crocheting because I just wanted something fast to do. And I wanted to make myself like, you know, arm warmers and stuff. And at the time, knitting was just too complicated for me. Like, crocheting was just so much more simple. And so that's what I did. I crocheted for just a really long time. And I've made like hats, neck warmers, blankets, all kinds of stuff. And most of it is under my bed. My bed's, the box spring is hollow inside and it lifts up and it's storage, which is really awesome. But all of my, like, winter wear is under there. So for another episode, I will show a lot more of my, like, past finished objects. And a lot of my favorite knit finished objects actually have been, like, gifts. Or, like, things that my mom has specifically requested that, like, I haven't kept. But the pictures are all on my Ravelry page. I try to take good, decent pictures of things. So that's at least documented. But what I do have to show you today of crochet is this ginormous long-term project that I've been working on. I've been working on it for a couple years. And I've only been working on it a couple years because I totally didn't work on it for the last 6 months at all. If I really sat down and like to work on it, I would finish it. I'm going to work on it this winter though because it's something I really do want to do and finish. Okay, so Tilly Trout, I already mentioned her at the beginning, but I love her so much I'm going to mention her again. So she calls these types of projects plops. She calls them projects of long-term ongoing progress. And I think that's such a good name for them because I don't know. You kind of get disenchanted with stuff sometimes and you don't want to stop it because you really do like it. I mean, you started the project in the beginning, like, for a reason. You started it for a reason. So anyways, so this project, I got the yarn when I went to the Fiber Festival a couple years ago. It is hand-spun, Chilean raised merino from the south. And because it's all hand processed, it's not as fine as you would think merino would be. It's 2-ply. Like a lace weight. Between a lace and a fingering, it's not perfect. Some places, you know, some places are much, much thinner and some places are much, are a definite fingering. But I wouldn't call it a thick, thin either, necessarily. It's just hand spun. And here's how I bought it. Like a skein the size of my face, literally a skein the size of my face. And I bought 3, 4, 5. I must have bought 5 of them, or 6 of them. I think I bought 6 of them. I have 4 whole ones left. The 5th one is wound up in my basket here and or already put in my blanket. Okay, so what the blanket is made up of are these squares. They're little granny squares. And what I'm doing is I'm crocheting the first 3 rounds. 3 rounds? 1, 2, 3, yeah. 3 rounds on their own. These are all just, you know, the same square. They're all the same square. And I absolutely hate sewing squares together. I'm trying to get it so you can see it better. There we go. I absolutely hate sewing squares together, and I'm really lousy at it. So, and it takes so much time. It's just like, I detest doing it. So I'm crocheting this together as I go. So what I'm doing is I'm crocheting a bunch of these 3-rounders together. Like, you know, getting up a good stack of these. And then when these are ready to go, then I'm crocheting them together into the blanket. So the blanket is queen size. That's another reason why this is a total plop. Because it's going to go across the whole bed. So here's what I have so far. Well, I'm not going to show you the whole thing so far because it's not going to fit in the picture. But it's queen size. So I have 2 rows, 2.5 rows done. Yeah, almost a full length of the 3rd row done. 3 rows done. But I like it because I'm crocheting the squares together as I go. I'm getting this really nice kind of quilted transition, you know, and it's like super, super sturdy. And it's a really, really nice blanket. And my goal with this was to just have a nice wool blanket to put on the bed because it gets cold here. I mean, we don't have heaters in the apartment either. We use space heaters. So, you know, when it's 40 degrees outside, it's also 40 degrees in the apartment. You just don't have the wind and the rain on you. But, yeah. And I like that it's off-white, so it doesn't, like, get dirty, you know. But when you have to wash it, this sucker will take a while to dry out. But that's okay. So it's ginormo, you know. But that's what I have crocheting at the moment. I really do love it. I really do. It just takes a long time, and because it's so much work, you know, I get bored of it really easily. I think all of this was done within like 3 weeks. And then I just was like over it. Also, this yarn is such a pain in the butt to wind into a ball. And I didn't get a Swift until last month, a couple months ago, 2 months. I probably had a Swift 2 months. So until recently, I was trying to wind stuff on my feet or on my knees, or my poor husband, you know, it was just like awful. And stuff would get knotted, and then I'm not like a patient person when stuff gets knotted. So like yarn barf is not my thing. Like I hate it. I hate it. So, yeah. But that's my current crochet plop. Woo! Sorry, I kicked the setup, guys. I kicked it. I kicked the setup. I was trying to prevent my legs from getting all sweaty and gross, and I was stretched out, so I kicked the chair. I'm sorry. Okay, so that is that. And I think these big things of yarn, I just weighed it. This one was 250 grams, not ounces, grams. So, that's a lot of yarn. I did the math when I bought it. I'm going to move it like this. I did the math when I bought it, and I thought it was enough. So it should be enough. If not, it'll just end up being like a coverlet for the bed. Okay, spinning. No. Yeah, I'll do spinning now. So I'm almost done with one of the things, one of the packages of roving. And it's spinning up really good, guys. It's so pretty. Some of the dye is coming out and staining the spindle. But look how consistent and beautiful it is. I'm so lousy. There we go. I'm so pleased with this, guys. I cannot wait to apply this. I'm going to Navajo chain apply it. So it'll end up being a 3-ply. That way it'll be nice and strong. It's pretty consistent. This right here is not thick like that. That's fuzzed. I don't know why it's so fuzzy there. I'm so happy with that. So there's that. Okay, let's see. Okay, acquisitions. Okay, so acquisitions every week are not going to be like this. Like last week and like this, they're not going to be like this. Because I've gone just slightly crazy the last couple weeks. And I'm not normally like that. I'm not like the kind of person that like buys stuff all the time. Like if I have a project in mind, I will buy the yarn for that project and then that's it. But that being said, here's some stuff. Okay, so I'm going to do this first because this really helps me. And I know I'm not the only one that has this issue. So when I spin, this happens all the time. Or when I knit. My hands are so dry anyways. And when I spin or when I knit or when I'm just handling yarn a lot, you know, yarn is a fiber and it absorbs anything you put on it. So anything that's on your hands, it's just going to act like a little sponge and suck it right out. So because my hands are so dry anyways, it makes my hands even more dry. So I know this is going to sound really weird, but it works, guys. It works. I use lanolin nipple cream on my fingers and cuticles, and it's the best thing ever. It's 100% lanolin. So, you know, it's good for your yarn and stuff too. It's not going to like hurt anything. I have such a hard time with putting hand cream on my hands before I spin or before I knit because A, I don't necessarily want my project smelling like hand cream. B, I don't necessarily know that what's in that hand cream is going to be okay for the fibers. So what I do is with this is I put this on. I know it's nipple cream, whatever, it works. If it's good enough for this, then it's good enough for these, right? So it's 100% lanolin, and you just take a little bit, melt it, and I rub it all over, let it sit in for a sec, and then I take like some coconut oil or I have like Lush body bars, lotion bars that are all natural with just like beeswax and natural oils and some fragrance, but it's not anything ridiculous. Or if it's the end of the night or whatever, I'll take some hand cream and then I rub it in on top. And the other oils kind of thin out the lanolin a little bit because that stuff's really thick. But, I mean, look, my cuticles, I mean, they look pretty good, right? They're not like all crazy. And my hands get so dry and they hurt, and this last week has saved my bacon. Okay. Other thing I got. I can't find Nitty Naughty here. And I don't want to order one online because shipping. So what I did was I purchased one of these that you use for weaving. And it's 1 meter long. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind my hand spun onto it so I can measure yardage. Sorry, my nose itches. I have wool or something in my nose. It has to be wool. So I can wind my hand spun onto it, and I know the yardage because one wrap all the way around is 1 meter. And then I can, because I oiled it, I can put this in water and use it to set the twist also if I want. That's the plan. It might not work. I might only be able to like measure yardage with it. But we'll see. We'll see. So I got that. I got some carbons in only the smaller sizes because I have Knit Picks, a set of Knit Picks interchangeables, wood ones, and I really like them. I really like them because they're not cold, and I like how grippy they are with the yarn, and I find I get better gauge with them. If I use metal needles, my gauge is like ridiculous, and but with the smaller ones, they just bend. They bend like crazy. And I'm not even a tight knitter. I knit like I knit like this. And so I needed something more sturdy. But what I like about the carbons is that they're grippy here, you know. This is grippy, and then this is slick. So as long as you're not knitting on your points, which you shouldn't be anyways, then you're not going to have to worry about your stitches flying off and losing stitches. And I hate that. Yeah. So I got a set of 2mm, some 4mm, which I have my featherweight on right now, and then 3mm, which I have my hat on right now. And those are the sizes I use the most, really. And then if I need anything else, then I'll get it. But, of course, now I have my eyes on a project that I need 3.5mm for. And I was in the store, and I was like, I don't need to get 3.5s right now. I'll get them when I have a project for it. And then 30 seconds later, I have a project for it. And I didn't get them when I was there. And now I have to, like, go and get them. Because I was trying to be, like, prudent. And I was trying to be like, no, I don't need them. No, I need them. So stupid. Dumb. Okay. So, something else I got. So, Melody from Mandarins, you are an enabler. You're an enabler, and you talk about so many lovely things that this is totally your fault. Just warning you. So Melody lives in Latvia, and she just went on like this rampage and got all patriotic. I mean, she's French, but she's living in Latvia. And she got all patriotic, and she was like, I want some Latvian wool. So she went and got a whole bunch of Latvian wool. And she's like researching Latvian mittens, and it's really cool. So every kind of region and town in Latvia has its own traditional mitten patterns. And by patterns, I mean like the way the color work is color work patterns. And so I think that's so cool that like every city or every region has its own traditional color work patterns. And so I was like, oh, I want some Latvian mittens. I want some mittens. And, you know, I've never really done color work before, and this and that. And I love the idea of just kind of like crunchy wool. You know, as long as it's not on your neck or like right on your forehead, it doesn't matter if it's crunchy, you know. So I was at the yarn store getting some yarn, which I'll show you in a second. And I was like, oh, regional wool. I found some regional wool. And it totally reminded me of Melody. Okay, so here's why it reminded me of Melody. Because I saw this color, and I was like, oh, I love it. It's like this really pretty lavender. It's showing up more gray than it really is. But it's like this really pretty kind of like rosy lavender, right? And I was like, oh, what can I do with this? I was like, color work. Latvian mittens. I'm going to do it. And then I was like, okay, what color do I want to pair with them? Because I was trying to be modest. I was like, I'm just going to do a 2-color thing. I was like, well, you have to do gray with them, right? So I got gray. Haha. And then I was like, oh, but is that enough contrast? Is this enough contrast? I don't know. I was hemming and hawing. I was like, and I was like, no, I need something with more contrast. So I was like, ta-da! So this is what I ended up with. These are totally Melody colors. She's going to be like, especially over this one. This is like a her color. Well, this is a her color too. She made her water lily. This is like the color that she made her water lily out of. So what the wool is the wool is, I'm not going to pretend to say that because I'm just going to butcher it. But it's made in Chile, and it's 50% Peruvian alpaca, which is what that kind of halo is that you're seeing. And then it's 50% virgin wool. It says lana virgin. So I go to look up exactly what virgin wool is, because, you know, everybody has a different definition of it. I go to look up what virgin wool is, but in Spanish, and all I get are like jokes about like ugly sheep. And that's why they're virgins, because they're ugly sheep, because the wool came from ugly sheep. Virgin wool. So I don't exactly know why it's labeled virgin wool. Is it like the first shearing of the sheep? Is it, I don't know. I have no idea. And I have no way to even really find out. But, and there's no yardage on here. It says 100 grams. I have no idea what the yardage is. It says palillos 3.5 to 4.5. But it doesn't say millimeters or whatever. But here we go by millimeters. So I'm assuming they mean 3.5 millimeter to 4.5 millimeter. And palillos are needles, knitting needles. So that would put it in like fingering weight range. So I'm going to do mittens with them. Probably on a size 3. On my size 3 carvings is what I'm going to do. Mittens, and I have a book and everything. I have a book my husband got me. It's called Latin Mittens, Traditional Designs and Techniques. And it's by, I'm going to totally butcher her name, Lisbeth Upitis? And it's written in English on one side and Latvian on the other. It's like very legit. And it has, it might even be the same book that Melody got. If it is, great minds. Yeah, but I'm going to do it. So I went through and I marked all the patterns that I like. I don't know if I'm going to follow an actual traditional pattern or if I'm going to take pieces from the ones that I like and kind of make up my own color work scheme. I don't know yet, but that's what I'm going to do. Haha. Okay. Some other things I got. I know this is going long, but I'm just kind of chatty today. I'm sorry. Okay. So some other things I got. More of this dreams come true, guys. I found the yarn for my canopy shawl. It's this really pretty, totally says canopy to me, like muted kind of foresty greens. I don't know if we can get the colors right there. That's pretty close. The green is more intense than that. And taupes and silvers, like these bits that are kind of like, it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. It's not going to be in the right gauge for the pattern, but I'm okay with that. It's going to be more drapey. And what I'll do is I'll just knit till I think it's big enough. And then I'll cast off. So I got 2 of these. And because I was so mortified about running out of yarn, each one's 420 meters. I'll be totally fine. I'll even have extra. Maybe I'll make some matching wristers. Maybe I'll make some fingerless mitts that have the same lace pattern on the wrist or something with the extra that I have, because I know I'll have extra. And it's 100% merino, extra fine merino. 100-gram balls, skeins, whatever. This one has like some mint in it. I opened them up and laid them side by side, and they look, I mean, they're hand dyed, so they're not going to be the same exactly, you know, but they're pretty much the same, as close as I can get them. So I'm so excited about that. So that is going to get cast on this week. I'm going to have to do it. Gonna have to do it. Okay, and then I got, so remember how I was saying I block on a yoga mat because I don't have anywhere else to block? Well, I went and I found these at the grocery store. I shop at a grocery store called Jumbo. And it's basically, for those of you in the States, it's kind of like a Target or like a Walmart. Even though here we have Leader, which is owned by Walmart, but it's not the same. I don't particularly care for Walmart. Anyways, they have clothes and they have, you know, a grocery store, but then they also have like other stuff too. So I saw these in like the go back cart. Like the person was going around collecting all the stuff that was just like abandoned in all the different aisles, and this was in the cart, and I said, oh, can I have that? Like, can I buy that? And they were just like, yeah. So, puzzle mat. Only it's not a puzzle mat. It's like, it doesn't have this bit. It's just the plain pieces. And I haven't even opened it yet. But I'm so excited. It was 6,000 pesos, which is just under $12. And they're like, you know, like, whatever. But it's the same exact thing. Like if you were to go on like Nitpicks or Webs and get a blocking mats, interlocking blocking mats, and they'd be $35. So I'm stoked about that. Whoop whoop. And then I got some sock yarn to make socks for my mother-in-law. I think these will be the toe and heel, and then this will be the rest of it. They're little 50-gram balls. Got 2 of those. Enough to make 2 pairs, you know, a pair of socks. And then these are for Guillermo. I think these will be the toe and heel, and these will be the body. And these are 50% alpaca, 50% wool. Chilean manufactured. But it feels pretty hardy. It doesn't feel like fluffy soft. Like I'm not worried about it going bye-bye, you know. And it's worsted. It's like, you know, what you'd consider sock yarn. It's nice. And it wasn't expensive at all. It was pretty good. So that's it for acquisitions, which I think is pretty good. Oh. So, real quick, dream knitting, canopy shawl. I'm going to do it this week. The Latvian mittens. I don't know when I'll do that. That will probably have to wait till winter-ish. So it's too hot to be knitting, like, things to put on things. Yeah, no. And then Melody this week in her podcast is wearing this hugely gorgeous, chunky sweater. And now I just want one. Thanks, Melody, again for enabling me. So I'll have to knit one of those. That's going on the dream knitting list. Okay, guys, top 3. Top 3. I should come up with jingles for all the stuff. What do you think? Should I come up with jingles? Okay, I'll think if maybe I can come up, at least for a top 3 jingle, because that would be really funny. Okay, so the top 3 this week is my favorite British TV shows. But not period dramas, because that's in a whole nother, like BBC and all of it is like period drama central. So, like, I'm not even getting into that. And Amy, okay, so my friend Amy lives in England, and she thinks it's hilarious that I watch all these British TV shows. Like, I watch at least 15 or 20 British TV shows, and she hardly watches any. And, and like, I drink tea all the time, and she's not a big tea drinker. She's like, you're more British than I am. It's kind of funny. Anyways, okay, so my top 3 British TV shows. We'll do this quickly. So number 3 is going to be Top Gear. Original British Top Gear. I'm not a huge car person, but I think that the guys, like James May, he's just hilarious. Clarkson's such an idiot. And, I mean, they're all just so funny. They're all so funny. And they've all worked together for so long that they know how to, like, work together, you know? And it's just, like, a really good show. And they love Chile because of the whole thing that just happened, which I won't get into. But yeah, Top Gear. It's really good. It's entertaining. It's funny. It's good. Number 2 is going to be QI. Stephen Fry hosts it, and he's just brilliant. And he's hilarious. And it's not like the traditional British panel show format. Because they get, like, I mean, they have all the comedians on and stuff, you know. But it's really funny because, again, it's educational. Like, it's educational because you always learn something. But it's really funny. And there's always, like, hilariously awkward moments. And it's just really good. So QI, that's number 2. And then my number 1 favorite British TV show is Doctor Who. And that doesn't count as a period drama because he goes through all of space and time. Doctor Who is just so good. It's funny, and it makes me cry, and the villains are so good and creepy, and it's beautiful. It's really good. It's really, really good. My mother-in-law is watching Doctor Who right now. She's like rewatching. She started from the beginning. She started with season 1 with Eccleston. Well, the revamping. So really, I guess it's series 10. I guess it's series, I don't know, Eccleston. Whenever it started with Eccleston as the Doctor. And she started, and then she got to, like, the regeneration when Tennant took over as Doctor. And Tennant is, like, so near and dear to my heart. He's not my favorite. Matt Smith's my favorite, but she got to that, and she just was like, "Oh my gosh, he's so crazy. He's so crazy." But it's so funny because I start chuckling when I hear the Doctor Who theme song come on her computer, like, dun, 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 dun. And I know in like 3 seconds I'm gonna hear her chuckling because she's watching Doctor Who. It's just so good. And it spans generations. It's like this whole multi-generational thing. It's been going on for so long. It's like everybody loves Doctor Who. That's my Doctor Who rant. Yeah. I think that's all I got, guys. It's kind of a lot. I think today might be longer than last week, which I apologize because last week was long. I'm not going to apologize. No, I hate it when people apologize. I'm not apologizing. If it's too long, then you can pause it and watch it in 2 sittings. Yeah. So, thank you for everybody who wrote to me, like emailed me or messaged me, and let me know your thoughts last week. I had some friends, Lotta and Amy, when they watched the episode, they were messaging me. Amy watched it and she was like, I'm messaging me the whole time. So we had like a live message session. It was hilarious. And Lotta was doing the same thing. She was messaging me on WhatsApp. And I was thinking, like, oh, why don't we do, like, I'll post it on a weekend day in the morning, and we can like have like a live chat room. We'll do that later, not now. But like, if you're interested in doing that, if you think that would be fun, then let me know on Ravelry, and I'll see if there's some way we can set that up. Google Hangout maybe? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll see if I can do it. That way we can all laugh at me being ridiculous together. Yeah. I still haven't found a spindle, but I'm still looking. I don't know about the Turkish spindles. I'm kind of afraid. I'm not quite there yet, but we'll see. But message away. If you want to email me, email me. You can email me through Ravelry. Private message me on Ravelry. And join the group. We'd love to have ya. So I think that's it, guys. Okay. I'll see if I can add some pictures after this. So if you want to stick around and see pictures of my neighborhood, then you can stick around. There's also a thread in the Ravelry group, so everybody can post pictures of their neighborhood if you want to see what other people's neighborhoods around the world look like. Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram as nlafontaine, and you can find me on Ravelry as Fuzzy Love Knots, and the Ravelry group is Fuzzy Love Knots. And that's it. So I hope everybody has a good week, and stay warm, stay cool, depending on where you are, and happy knitting, everyone. Bye.